There is a reason why this Bible story is so powerful. In the first seconds, everything feels lost. The sound of desperate footsteps echoes through the desert as a nation runs with fear in their eyes, trapped between an endless sea and an unstoppable army. And in that moment, it seems like history is about to end before it even begins. But hidden within the tension of this scene is a divine interruption that no one could have predicted. A moment that would redefine faith forever and echo through generations as proof that even the impossible can be broken. The people of Israel had just escaped years of slavery, leaving behind chains, suffering, and generations of oppression, stepping into a future they could not yet see, guided only by a promise and the voice of Moses. The desert stretched endlessly before them, unfamiliar and unforgiving. Every step forward carried both hope and uncertainty, because freedom, as beautiful as it sounds, often begins with confusion. And in that fragile transition between bondage and promise, their faith was about to be tested like never before. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble, and a distant sound rolled across the desert like thunder. Chariots, horses, soldiers. The army of Egypt was coming, stronger, faster, and fueled by rage. What once seemed like a victory now turned into a nightmare. Panic spread through the people like wildfire. Voices rose in fear, doubt filled their hearts, and questions began to surface. Why were we brought here? Was freedom just an illusion? Had they escaped only to face destruction in a place with no escape? Before them stood the Red Sea, vast, deep, and unmoving, a barrier that made hope feel like a cruel joke. Behind them, death approached with speed and certainty. There was no path forward, no visible solution, no strategy that could save them. Human logic had reached its limit, and in that suffocating moment, all that remained was fear. And yet, sometimes, it is in the complete absence of options that something greater begins to move. Moses stood still in the middle of chaos, not because he had all the answers, but because he trusted the one who did. While others saw an ending, he sensed that this was only the beginning of something extraordinary. Lifting his staff toward the sea, he acted in obedience, not knowing how it would unfold, but believing that it would. And that single act of faith became the turning point between despair and miracle. Then something impossible happened. The wind began to roar across the waters, stronger than anything they had ever seen. The sea did not crash, it did not overflow. Instead, it obeyed. The waters began to separate, rising like walls on both sides, creating a path where there had never been one. The ground beneath became dry, stable, real, a road in the middle of the impossible. And in that moment, fear was replaced with awe. Step by step, the people began to walk forward, not fully understanding what they were witnessing, but knowing they could not go back. Surrounded by towering walls of water, each breath carried a mixture of wonder and urgency. This was not just an escape, it was a revelation, a demonstration that when there is no way, God creates one, not quietly, but powerfully, unmistakably, undeniably. Behind them, the Egyptian army rushed into the same path, blinded by determination and pride, believing they could control what was never meant for them. But what had opened in obedience would not remain open in rebellion. The same power that created the path now prepared to close it, showing that miracles are not just about escape, but also about protection and justice. At the right moment, as the last of the people reached the other side, the waters began to return, slowly at first, then with unstoppable force, crashing down and swallowing the army that once seemed invincible. The threat that chased them was gone, not by their strength, not by strategy, but by something far greater, something that reminded them that they were never alone in the first place. Silence filled the air as the seas settled back into its place, as if nothing had happened, but everything had changed. The people stood on the other side, no longer slaves, no longer trapped, but transformed. What they had witnessed was more than a miracle. It was a message, a declaration that even in the most impossible moments, there is a power that moves beyond what eyes can see. This story reveals something deeper than just a historical event. It shows that the greatest battles are often fought in moments where fear screams louder than faith, where logic says stop, but something inside says keep going. It reminds us that the edge of our limit is often the starting point of something divine. There are moments in life where you feel exactly like this, trapped between what is behind you and what stands in front of you, with no clear direction, no visible solution, and every voice around you questioning whether you should have ever taken that step forward. And yet, it is precisely in those moments that something unseen begins to move. The Red Sea was not just a body of water. It was a test, a boundary between fear and trust, between going back to what is familiar and stepping into what is unknown. And just like then, many people today stand before their own sea, unsure if it will ever open. But this story reminds us that faith is not about having all the answers. It is about taking a step, even when the path has not yet appeared. Because sometimes the miracle does not come before the movement, it comes because of it. The people did not see the sea open before they moved. They saw it as they trusted, as they followed, as they stepped forward. And that changes everything, because it means that what seems impossible now may only be waiting for your next step. Fear will always try to convince you that there is no way out, that the situation is final, that the obstacles are too great. But this moment in history stands as a reminder that what looks like an ending can actually be a setup for something greater than you imagined. The same God who made a way through the sea did not change, and the same power that moved then still moves now, not always in ways we expect, but always in ways that matter, always at the right time, always with purpose. So when you find yourself standing at the edge, when everything around you says it's over, remember this moment. Remember the sea. Remember the path that appeared where there was none, and hold on just a little longer. Because sometimes the greatest miracles happen when there is no other option left, when surrender replaces control, and when faith becomes the only thing you have left to hold on to. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to like, share, and follow for more powerful stories that can strengthen your faith and remind you that no matter how impossible it looks, a way can always be made.